Good morning. It's 9:30 a.m., November 29th, Tuesday. Please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll start with a prayer, please. Heavenly Father, we beseech your divine guidance in this meeting. Keep us ever mindful of our obligation. Grant us, dear Lord, wisdom, tolerance, and courage that we may well serve our county and fulfill our trust. Amen.
Amen.
All right, and we have the
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
All right. I will second. Any discussion or changes? Roll call, please.
Hudson?
Yes.
Hambley?
Yes. All right. Next, open for public comment. Any public comment here regarding any pending resolutions? Being none, we'll go ahead and proceed. Jeremy Simcoe, our sanitary engineer. I know. Well, we can rotate around if you want to be last.
Jeremy, you're always first.
Well, I appreciate that, Bill.
Really?
Steve.
Okay.
One resolution for consideration today, and that is authorizing the sanitary engineer to request statements of qualification for design services for 2023.
Motion to approve.
Second the motion. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Hudson?
Yes.
Hambley?
Yes.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Jeremy.
That's it. Great. Thank you. Holly Murin, our Human Resources Director.
Good morning, Howard.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm going to go through this fast. Resolution today is 2 new hires, 1 in sanitary and 1 in transit. There's 13 rate increases, including maintenance, sanitary, solid waste district, job and family services, office of older adults, and county home.
Motion to approve.
Second the motion. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Hudson?
Yes.
Hambley?
Yes.
Thank you.
Very good.
Thanks,
Thank you, Holly. Scott Miller, our County Administrator. Good morning.
Scott.
Good morning. I just have one resolution for you today. It's establishing initial employee health care plan measurement stability administrative periods. The measurement period will be March 1st, 2023 through October 31st of 2023. Stability period, January 1st, 24 through December of 24, and the administrative period, November 1st, 23 through December 31st of 23.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second the motion. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Hudson?
Yes.
Hambley?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Very good.
Scott.
All right, thanks. Our Assistant County Administrator, Amy Lyon-Galvin.
Do you have more than one? Good morning, Amy.
I have 10. Good morning.
No, that's not bad.
The first resolution is amending the appropriation measure resolution. The second is amending the 22 appropriations resolution by transferring appropriations. Third is expenditure adjustments for various funds. Fourth is revenue adjustments. And fifth is cash transfers. The sixth resolution is extending the dog license system agreement term. It's a 2-year original term that expired July 31st of 22, but the agreement has automatic renewals, and we just are asking please that we acknowledge that first extension year of the agreement. The rate is the same at $260 a month. The seventh resolution is approving a contract for the provision of medical services for the Medina County Home. This is again with Dr. Canderwall. He continues to do a great job with our residents and our staff. The eighth resolution is accepting the Home Energy Assistance Program funding for the Office for Older Adults for state fiscal year 23. Ninth is accepting a grant agreement for the Office for Older Adults and Western Reserve Area Agency on Aging. This is for Medicare improvements for Patients and Providers Act requirements for state fiscal year 22-23. And the 10th resolution is approving claims for the week in the amount of $1,111,269.96.
I'll make a motion to approve the 10 resolutions.
I will second the motion. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Hudson?
Yes.
Hambley?
Yes.
Thank you.
Very good.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Amy.
Oh, all right. Commissioners' resolutions. We have one authorizing the purchase of beverages and refreshments for various commissioners' meetings. This authorizes the purchase of beverages and light refreshments for various 2023 meetings at an amount not to exceed $100 per meeting.
Motion to approve.
I will second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Hudson?
Yes.
Hambley?
Yes, all right. That's it in terms of our resolutions. Open up to public comment. That's going to be short, so no public comment. Now we'll open. Discussion session. Yeah. Well, Susan, did you want to come up? Is there something you wanted to discuss?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Come on up.
I'm Susan Bodner. I have a little update for the IT department. Right now, we're a total of 5, including myself. So we're a decent number. And STEP CG are consulting services coming on the week of December 1st and 2nd to basically finish the installation of the court and patch the cable and put the access point for wireless. And then we will be moving the juvenile servers on the weekend of the 17th. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we will be moving the servers. All other departments can be migrated afterward because we set it in a way that the old court stay working while we are planning the new courts. The phone in the admin building, they are ported right now on First Com and they are working. We are sending in new schedules for the other departments in order to schedule the phone installations for them. The AD projects or Active Directory projects, it's at the test phase. We're testing our department right now, and if everything works, probably by next week or in the next 10 days, we should be able to migrate user in order to pull our resources from the highway engineers resource.
Susan, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Will that Active Directory apply to all people on the network or just our folks?
Apply to ours and the rest, all people who are under the commissioners and the one who elected to be under the commissioners.
Okay.
Yes, so anybody who was not under the commissioners and would like to join, they will be in. Because we got a couple of extra departments they asked to be on our Active Directory. So yeah, so we're hoping later in the future more and more there will be. And then after we finish the Active Directory, we will move forward with the email migrations because should be in order to do. So that's all for today.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you.
All right. Scott?
Yeah, just a couple things. So sometimes things are too good to be true, right? The courthouse, they've had some issues. So the move has been moved from the 5th to the 12th, so they're a week behind.
Okay.
So they're finishing up the terrazzo on the first floor right now. So there's
So
a
this will be the
one week
occupancy
delay.
permit from the 5th to the 12th?
Well,
We'll move
Ye-
it to the 9th.
the 9th.
Certificate of occupancy will be the 9th for the first floor, the 9th for the second floor, the 16th for the
Oh,
third floor.
okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be-
21st for the fourth floor.
Okay.
Yeah, so
all right.
it'll be phased in.
Okay, that will, now we're be doing that open house and the ribbon cutting on the 20th, but that'll be on just basically their first and second floor.
First and second floors.
So that
yeah.
won't affect any of that,
Should not,
all right.
no.
Well, actually, we should have occupancy by the 20th, right, of the whole building?
That is correct. We should be probably.
Right, so it should be
on
okay.
that
Well,
day.
but we're not granting access to the other parts is that
Right.
for that
Right.
purpose, so,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, all right.
So, and then I think Susan mentioned the phones being
Mhm.
ported. I have been ported here in the administration building. So I also sent you an email. There's 2 vehicles. There's a salt truck, an F-450 salt truck, that we've all but paid for. We owe $396, I think it is. And then we have the auditor has a F-250 that he's had since 2016. I've talked to them. They want to keep it. So next week I'd like to go ahead and just put a resolution on just to purchase those 2 vehicles at $396 each.
Okay, all right,
And that
Sure.
will get us the title.
got it.
Okay?
So we shouldn't look at selling them and getting new ones and
Well, the salt truck is a specialty. That was,
so we might
that
have
was,
difficulty getting it?
well, I mean, we were having trouble getting trucks, period. But with the salt truck, we've got the stainless steel bed on it, we've got the
Okay.
spreader and all of that. And it's gonna last us probably another 10, 15 years. So
All right,
I,
yeah,
I say we just
Purchase
keep
for-
it, yeah,
yeah.
just buy it for $396 and we have it. The
Right.
F-250, we probably could sell it and get additional money for it, but it's it's set up for the auditor, and
What do they
and he
use it
wanted to
for?
keep it.
Is that for
Weights and measures, yeah.
Weights and measures?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So we just,
So at this
so we
point, we
just
basically,
keep
well,
it.
we'll own it and, yeah.
That's right
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah,
Yep.
for $360, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's cheap, and they'll probably keep that for another 5 to
Couple
10 years too, so
Okay.
It was a
All
good
right.
deal.
it was,
Very good.
it was, so,
Yeah.
okay,
All right.
thank you.
That
Thank
it?
you,
All right,
Scott.
great.
So you heard that, that salt truck's gonna last 15 more years, right?
I did hear it, but I do not necessarily believe it.
And it's recorded.
Yeah, put bubble gum on the
Must be
frame and
true.
hold everything together.
Works miracle to have.
Yeah, right.
We do realize that we're throwing salt with a truck, right? It's metal, so it will rust probably faster than it does everything.
All right. Amy?
I don't have anything.
Jeremy? All right, okay. Not to disappoint.
Just wanted to talk a little trash with you today.
Okay.
So on, on October 8th, the Solid Waste District received one proposal from ERG for the transport, recycling, disposal, technical assistance services for the Household Hazardous Waste Program. Ann Foki over at the district and GT Consultants reviewed the pricing submitted with neighboring districts throughout the state and found that the prices submitted by ERG were comparable to those other districts. The new pricing would essentially, we're looking for about a $25,000 annual increase from what the anticipated cost is for this year compared to the new pricing next year. So also discussions with GT included continue education outreach to residents to find other options that they may have for disposal, like say latex paint or motor oil, and that they'll continue to investigate other outlets with GT, or the district that is, to find out and help reduce maybe materials being brought to the district. And another option that we may want to consider is maybe even having a fee for the household hazardous waste, because right now that's all subsidized by the commercial haulers of the gate rate.
Right.
So, you could do a flat rate of, $3 or $5, whatever that number be, or like a per pound cost, but, something just to think about to help with those increasing costs.
So Jeremy, how much is the contract for? Is it
It-
based on a volume received?
Yeah, volume or weights of material being brought. So, when it's time, like if, the bin gets filled, they'll haul it off, they'll weigh it, and whatever the price per pound or unit cost is, that's what they pay. So it's,
Because they charge different amounts for different types of
That is
items,
correct.
Right.
That is
Like
correct.
TVs and printers and.
light bulb, electronics,
Well, probably, those ought probably be reviewed based upon the new contract.
And that's what they
There's
did. They
no-
looked at those
yeah, right.
pricings.
But I know in our discussions too, when we were talking, I think at one of the hearings, is regarding the disposal of such as like used motor oil, antifreeze, all that kind of said. I guess there was a comment made that there's a lot of, I guess, garages and places that will take this. And it's just compiling that list and getting it out to people.
Correct.
Because at this point, particularly people in the northern part of the county, it really is not a convenient location to go down there.
We can
for
take it down
disposal.
here, but to your point,
Right,
up
yeah, so
here,
we can
these
get-
are all the other
we got
locations.
areas, well, even in Wadsworth, probably, or even some other part of the county, if they can find somebody local that they can take it to, and that's what I think we ought to be focusing on, is making it as easy as possible for people to properly and responsibly dispose of those wastes. And if within their neighborhood or within their community or within their short driving distance, that would be the preferable way to do it.
I would agree.
And that help keep, obviously, the cost down for us, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
But we can get a map or whatever, just to
Exactly.
notify people of, to your point, like in Brunswick or Hinckley areas. There might be some areas up in that northern part of the county that would be a lot shorter drive and still at no cost.
Yeah, and might be able to even work with our new director, try to do more outreach within the community itself to help promote that.
Correct.
Because I think the easier we make it, the less likely it's going to get thrown in with the trash.
I would agree.
Okay,
So, like I think we're looking to do a resolution next week to award the contract
Okay.
to ERG. So,
okay,
okay.
Cool.
Sounds good.
All right.
Great.
That's it.
all right, very good, that was
Thanks,
easy.
Jeremy.
Thank you, all right. Holly, you have anything? Stephen? Okay, all right. Bill?
Just one quick note. I had conversations with the Supreme Court Disciplinary Council regarding NOACA, my continued involvement in NOACA, and it is not something that they will allow.
Oh, okay,
So
all right.
I will
Advise
I've already
Board.
advised
Grace,
Executive Director Galucci that
Yeah.
I could not continue on,
right.
and so they'll be searching for a new, or for a president for next year for the
Yeah,
board.
because you're in the rotation at this point.
Correct. And
Right.
so my guess is that they will swap Medina County out with somebody else, some other county.
All right,
to be
okay. So
president,
next year we'll have to
and then-
appoint someone with that
Right.
intent that they'll
Yes.
quickly rise to it.
And
Yeah.
the appointments, Rhonda, have you gotten anything from NOACA about appointments for 2023? Usually we do that in early December.
Right,
Um,
Right,
So
yeah.
we'll have to appoint a new commissioner to the
right,
board.
understand.
So
Yeah,
I just want to
okay.
let you know.
All right, sounds like something we've got to work on here. All right.
That's all.
Anything else? Thank you. I was remiss in not mentioning it last week, but the Natural Resources Assistance Council, District 9, and there were two projects that we had supported for the grant of funding, and we went through the scoring system, and both Champion Creek Connector Project for $95,200, as well as Westfield Center Village Woods for $1 million. $1,058,000. Did successfully meet the criteria, the methodology, the scoring, and eligibility, and has been recommended to have the funding through the Ohio Public Works Commission. So
Excellent.
they're the final arbiter of those, but it went through the scoring of round 17, made the application. Mayor Horvath was there. I talked to him afterwards. We got to watch the process. It's much like making sausage in some ways. It's because, it's very open and transparent. Actually, within the scoring methodology, every point, everything is discussed through that methodology. And it took us 2 hours to go through the 4 projects, but it was thoroughly vetted in a public meeting. And a lot of people aren't used to that. And so basically, it's managing very complicated projects and the methodology and basically go through it all. So we were able to go through all that. And he was just surprised because there were some negative comments he perceived as negative comments, but they were just matter of fact as no, it doesn't involve these rare species, so it doesn't get a point. Well, that's not negative. That's just a matter of fact. So, but it still made the criteria, still got the funding, and actually we have even a balance in the NRAC District 9 fund
Good.
for projects. So at this point, it's like those 2 projects will be funded and moving forward. So
deal.
that's good news. The other wanted to bring up for discussion, and I see Christina's here, EMA, wanted to talk about the amended agreement with EMA and talk about the proposal. And I guess for the record, we need to have someone explain why we're amending the agreement. So I don't know whether that's, that's something, Christine, did you want to handle, or Scott, as to why we're amending the current agreement? Okay, we need to make it part of record why we're going through this, because we have currently, and it has been in place, we've got right now 2 commissioners and members, as well as Scott Miller represents the Board of Commissioners on there.
So there's currently 2 agreements that are out there. One agreement was approved by the political subdivisions, and the other agreement was approved by the commissioners. And the agreements don't necessarily coincide with each other, and there are some aspects of the agreements that do not coincide with the Ohio Revised Code. So the prosecutor took a look at it, and he redrafted the agreement so that it now complies with the revised code. So that's the reason why we are amending the agreement.
So the code since 90, 91, those agreements were dating back to that. that 90.
Early 90s.
Yeah, early 90.
Right.
And so the code has changed since then, and so basically this conforms with the changes in the code since then,
Correct,
correct?
yes.
Okay, all right.
And so we'll have to go around and get signatures from all the townships and political subdivisions again,
Yes,
right?
yeah. I'll go and visit each one of them face to face, just in case they have any questions, and we can just, do that in either a public meeting, or at least we could do it face to face. I think that's probably too difficult to just send it out and expect everybody to just understand it,
Right.
without some kind of interaction with them. So, and then at the same time, when we do the annual EMA cost allocations, we'll present that. We'll just do it all at the same time.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. So this won't be effective then until sometime next year? Is that fair?
Yeah, I was at the beginning of the year, so when we do our EMA cost allocations, we always send those out at the start of the year. So that would be the ideal scenario that we can just.
But you won't be able to get to all the townships, all the villages, and anybody else is a participant in this agreement by then, will you?
It'll be easy to do the townships because they have their, they do
Association
they do a bi-monthly association meeting. So typically, I think that the majority of townships are represented. And then, they actually have, if we're able to move forward somewhat quickly, they have their Christmas party. I think that their Christmas
Right,
party
it's
will
coming
be
up.
well attended.
Right, 2 weeks away.
Yeah, it'll be 2 weeks
Yeah.
away, so I think that that is probably the one meeting of the year besides the steak roast that it's the most attended.
And the engineers,
Right,
yeah,
right.
the engineers barbecue.
Right.
Right.
Always pretty well attended.
Yeah, and then visiting the 3 cities,
Yeah.
that's not difficult. I often stop and
Right.
just, pop in and say hi to folks as I'm driving through their community, so that wouldn't be unusual for me to stop by.
Now, the way it's currently structured is that this actually only puts one county commissioner on that. And I understand the way the statute is written, that basically, as the intent is, that the additional members would be appointed by the executive committee. But I also read that as I understand, the statute says the county-wide agreement shall specify how many additional members, if any, shall serve on the executive committee and their manner of selection. So I know a current draft says the executive committee may also appoint 5 additional members. I would recommend that actually we ought to say that they shall appoint 5 additional members rather than may, because that is in full compliance with the code, because that countywide agreement can specify how many members the executive committee need to appoint. And so I would recommend that this agreement be modified so it says specifically, yes, that the executive committee shall appoint,
Yep, that's
not
easy enough.
may.
And I think at one point that was in there. I think shall was in there and we hemmed and hawed about shall or may.
Right.
So.
But I won't support it unless we have, it specifies that, obviously, as I understand it too, since 1991, and obviously, I served on it for 18 years, as well as another commissioner, Barr and Adam Smith, or Adam Frederick and Sharon Ray, I'm trying to think who else, served with over the years on that. But we want to make sure that since the county is responsible for the administration of contracts, as well as even financially responsible, that the board does have, I will just say at least 2 of us have a representation on there, because we are financially responsible for what the EMA does.
Yeah. And I appreciate having Scott attend, with him being the full-time employee that then reports back to the commissioners. So my intent is to make sure that the county administrator is one of the 5 people.
Okay.
So those are the kind of things that I want to be able to explain face-to-face verbally
Okay.
to the political subdivisions.
So at this point, we'll modify the draft so that it basically says shall appoint 5 additional members.
I'm good with
then?
that.
Okay,
Sure.
Okay,
all right, okay, good.
thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
anything else? Super. All right, thank you. I did want to also bring up for discussion short-term rental bed tax. Now, this has to do with bed and breakfast, and those we have right now our lodging tax, and I know Rhonda's been privy to some of the correspondence. We did, I guess, receive I was remiss in not reprinting it. We'll have to put it in the packets for next week, but I would like to bring up this for consideration. I think we do need to modify our by resolution that lodging tax.
The bed tax?
Yeah, to specifically make sure the language is clear that it does apply to these short-term rentals.
So like an Airbnb?
Yes, exactly,
or any of
Airbnb
those,
or any of those. And there's a number
VRBOs.
of them, and
Yeah.
it's somewhat unclear, so I think the prosecutor has said, make it clear. And I think, just out of fairness to the hotels and those that are paying for this, that goes to the Visitors Bureau for those purposes, that we'll just say the Airbnbs and the bed and breakfasts ought to be paying also for those short-term rentals.
Right.
So anyway, just make it clear also for the auditor to be able to collect from them. And we've already listed, I think the Kathy Breitenbucher, who's the interim, has already been talking to a number of them, letting them know that this is just not meant, yes, they're obviously remitting a tax to their customer, but likewise, the Visitors Bureau is going to be assisting them in promoting and their website and doing some promotional stuff. So as they get, if you'll registered or work with us, they'll actually also be promoted within our own, the only
Right.
Visitors Bureau website to help assist them in promoting their places to stay. So, but I'll make sure that we get that, we'll work on that, and hopefully put it in for maybe next week or the following week. So,
Okay,
all right.
I'm good with that.
Or whenever, the 20th. All right. That's all I've got.
Executive?
Yep, and when you,
Okay.
yep.
So I'll make a motion to go into executive session to consider the employment and compensation of a public employee and appointment of a public official.
I will second the motion.
Hudson?
Yes.
Hambley?
Yes. And we'll be ending our live feed right now because we have extended executive session and in interviewing the appointment for public officials. And we won't be returning live, but we will be returning to adjourn. So everybody have a good week.